It's tea time, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 467.
Yep, another one.
Another one.
Yeah.
Someone can. Yeah. Who? DJ College, right? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. We're doing some white tea from White2Tea, and this is the
Old Whitey.
2016.
So
White2Tea Bros.
I guess it's 7 years old.
Authentastic, spectacular realness. The two, the only. It's kind of like an old, 1920s Depression label. Yeah. Looks great. Excited to drink some white tea.
Yep.
What have you been drinking recently, James?
Kind of just my standard array, maybe half pu'er, half oolong.
Okay.
Yeah. And why are we drinking a white tea?
We are doing this because I have not at least had food yet today. And this will be far easier to consume than pretty much anything else.
Yeah.
In terms of just...
Maybe not ripe, but...
Yeah, ripe would be just fine. Although actually, even depending on how strong the white tea is, it could be even easier to drink a ripe. But yeah. And myself, I've been doing a lot of jade oolongs while it's been hot. Just kind of the temperatures are starting to change a little bit. I'm doing a bit more round flavors. I'm doing some GABA oolong. I had some Oriental Beauty yesterday. Yeah, but still enjoying a lot of the kind of fresh, crisp flavors. So this looks to be in the liqueur perspective, on the bit of the more auburn red side of a white tea compared to some of them which can be quite yellow.
Right.
The leaves are going to also, as a result of that yellow color, tend to be more white. They look clearly like fresh buds. Think of a silver needle compared to something like this. So.
And I do think this is a tea that we probably had probably around 2016 time when it was pressed. I noticed that there was at least one other session grabbed out of here. So I was too lazy to go back into the archives and figure that out. But I don't remember the episode at all. So I
hope you like it. Maybe we will.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Nice sweetness to it.
Yep. A little light to start, but that's just to be expected.
Not overly complex, for sure, which is not a bad thing. A nice body to it too, but pretty simple.
Yeah. A hint of a little bit of an herbaceous thing going on in here. Kind of at the end of it. A little, almost like minty, mentholy. Subtle.
And I actually don't remember what type of white tea this is, but it's certainly not silver needle.
No.
Maybe by Madonna. Anyways, what you were saying?
Just that I expect that this second steeping here to be probably our superstar steeping.
Yeah.
White teas green teas, white teas, black teas tend to open up for steeping, and then second steeping tends to be kind of your best in the show.
Yep. And it does have a nice lingering syrupy sweetness in the mouth right now. So very refreshing. I'd say we're probably getting towards the tail end of white tea season here, as the weather is slowly starting to turn, but still reasonably warm. Past few days.
Yeah, and these sort of more oxidized white teas remind me a bit of Oriental Beauty.
Yeah.
They have a bit of that sort of round, soft, but a little bit not quite as crisp flavor profile. Really
I can see that too. Yeah, because it does start to turn a little bit darker in Oriental Beauty. Oriental Beauty would probably, it's been a long time since I had it, but correct me if I'm wrong, but it probably blew more of an orangish red, like a darker shade.
Yep, definitely.
But
almost identical.
Yeah, not a dissimilar flavor profile.
Not at all. Yeah, in fact, if you did blind tasting, it might be hard to distinguish the two.
Cheers.
Cheerio.
Starting to bring like a little bit of a different sweetness, maybe a little bit of cherry to this, like a nice brightness still to this.
It's nice. A little bit of a mineral thing going on. You can see some of the young buds in here, but in general the material looks like quite oxidized. I mean, the actual leaves themselves are really quite kind of orange at this point.
Yep.
You can see that they've faded a bit in their greenness potentially as well over time here. Really tasty. Quite a pleasant aftertaste, as you noted.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
And Denny, how are you brewing this? Like, what are you looking at when you're brewing and determining temperature and like, I mean, we use boiling here, but it's kind of like how much off the boil we are. Like, when do you reboil? How long do you want to steep this for?
Yeah, I at this point like doing boiling water with white teas. You can definitely use colder water, and it would be just fine.
Yeah.
But I think some of the best white teas, and we tend to drink pretty good ones on the show, they do typically do just great with boiling water. I'm going to give it longer and longer each steeping. You'll notice here I'm hanging out just a little bit longer each time. I'm not timing it or anything. You could. And that's, again, just to kind of make sure that each steeping that we have has really kind of its 100% potency.
Right.
You don't want to let it sit for too long, though. It can get a little bit bitter, just like any tea.
And it's hard to make white tea too bitter, like this sort of white tea, the aged and like the kind of the rougher thing, like by Mudan or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know this for a fact, but my guess, because it's white tea and the guy runs a pu'er shop, is that this is probably Yunnan white rather than Fujian. But so it would be the large leaf varietal there too.
And it kind of looks like it too, just based on the leaves. The leaves are cut up quite a bit, but yeah. Here you go.
Yeah. One thing that's very notable about this tea is I will say that each steep has been different from the other one. So in that sense, it's kind of engaging. Some teas can be very consistent, steep in, steep out. And this one has varied quite a bit.
Yeah, a little bit more spice in this. A bit more of a kind of cinnamon cardamom flavor. Still quite sweet. I'd say that the mouthfeel is pretty consistent across the brews. We're using quite a bit of leaf.
Yeah.
If you're not getting that kind of silky texture from your white tea, you might want to up the leaf ratio and lower the temperature or time brewed. The texture of these teas tend to be one of my favorite parts about them.
Right. Yeah, I'd say this tea is not even close to getting bitter also. So
right.
that's quite nice too.
Yeah. Okay. We'll wrap here in a sec. Okay, we'll do one more steeping, and I'm not going to reboil. I'm just going to let the time go a little bit longer here, because we're drinking this pretty quick. Typically I think, James, would you probably be spending a bit more time in between steepings drinking your tea?
I think the speed that we drink is a little unnatural.
Yeah.
But we're doing something a little unnatural too. We're doing a YouTube show. So, it's yes, my own personal speed. It'd be kind of just like a steep or two.
Yeah.
Let's take a 20-minute break. But I mean, like a 3-hour session where there's like 20-minute breaks. Us just talking would be a rather boring show.
Totally, yeah. Well, but just worth noting, practically speaking, you're going to want to probably reboil your water with consistency as a result of that.
Yeah.
Mom test.
Yeah. Why not?
I think so.
Yeah.
Ultralight test. What do you think?
Well, I'm not the ultralighter, but I would say it'd pass.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I agree with James. These teas, they're going to take, kind of whatever you throw at them to some degree.
Yeah.
If you really were just using boiling water the whole time and a ton of leaf, you could get this into a bitter brew, but I think this would take just fine with the grandpa style.
Yeah.
Adding water to it, things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one test for kind of the ultralight is also just like how the difficulty of brewing, and this impresses me as something very easy to brew in the sense that if you forget about it, it might be just a bit bitter, not even that much.
Right.
Whereas if you forget about like a young raw, welcome to
oil spill,
bitter land. Yeah. Cheerio, all the way down the hatch.
Oh man.
Saying that makes Denny's not go all the way down the hatch.
I'm really impressed with the longevity of this. It could be because it's been pressed and aged a little bit, but
or the varietal too.
Also true. The kind of brightness is a little bit died off. I'm getting a little bit more of those kind of minerally flavors now, a little bit more earthiness, in kind of a desert feeling way.
Yeah.
Really tasty.
Yeah, and I think it Could probably go for a few more if
Yeah.
we really wanted to push it.
Yeah, but I would definitely reboil at this point.
Absolutely.
Let it hang out.
Yeah.
And that would be, I think, one more at least good one. With all of these teas in general, I think white teas, black teas, oolong teas, you can also just kind of throw them in a big pitcher of water in summertime. It's really refreshing and delicious. Let it hang out in the fridge overnight.
It'd be really interesting to see how this continues to age. I mean, we kind of have an accidental aging experiment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe we'll revisit this again in 7 years when it's like 14 years old.
It's funny. Yeah, who knows? Check out White2Tea, White, the number 2T. Give them a Google, maybe to white2tea.com, I can't remember.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Great vendor. I've been drinking their tea for, a decade at this point. And if you like the video, this is probably one of the more, we're not quite hyped up with the beer yet. We'll get more ridiculous on next time, I guarantee it. We're gonna go have some dim sum, and then we'll be back with something a little bit more intense.
For 468!
Okay.
Peace!
Oh Lord. Oh God.